As the Shadow War rages on, will the Dark Knight be forced to save the Terminator from his own flesh and blood? Well, let's hop into the pages of Robin issue number 13 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we rejoin this big crossover story, Batman is talking to Oracle, going over all the new clues he's managed to accrue following Ra's al Ghul's death. And by new clues, I of course mean no new clues at all. Yes, that's right, everyone. We're count 'em, 4 issues into this series, and the supposed world's greatest detective Batman knows more or less exactly what he knew when all of this started. Batman says for once, though, solving the case isn't exactly what he's most invested in right now. It's managing to save Robin, the two actually having left on bad terms once again when all of this started. Yes, he cared so much about Damian, he went to Talia first, only to discover that she also knew nothing. Man, this couple is bad at keeping track of their kid. Where is Damian right now? Well, at the end of the last Deathstroke book, you'll recall that he and longtime friend Ravager joined forces to try and take down Slade and his son Respawn. Also, it hits me now, we're this many issues deep into the history of Respawn, and that really is just straight up his name. No one ever thought to give him a civilian identity. He's just Respawn 24/7, and people have to call him that. Damian is enraged and still blames Deathstroke for the assassination of Ra's al Ghul. Granted, we as the reader know that that's not the case, and Slade was framed, but Robin, as I mentioned, is angry and isn't willing to do any detective work on his own. As for Ravager, this is just yet another chapter in her long, messed up, dysfunctional family history. She had taken Respawn to meet with her father after figuring out that they were actually siblings, only to have Respawn turn against her. Robin admittedly does get in a pretty good line here, saying he doesn't fear Respawn as he technically already killed him once in the Lazarus fighting tournament to the death, so why should he worry about him now? Oh, but wait, it's right around here after Slade blows up his hideout does Damian have to come face to face with the truth that under the mask, Respawn is none other than his clone brother. All created as part of a special contingency plan by Ra's himself in case Talia failed in raising their son to be the proper heir to the demon's head. Ra's would have his own backup. A child born of the DNA of both Talia and Slade Wilson, the world's greatest assassin. At first, Damian thinks this whole thing might be another trick to get inside his mind like Mother Soul did a few issues back, but eventually it sinks in that Respawn is the real deal. In fact, in what is probably my favorite part of Shadow War so far, Respawn really starts reading Damian the Riot Act, saying that Damian had it all, loving parents, every chance imaginable, and yet time and time again, Damian manages to squander all of these gifts while Respawn was born with nothing and forced to claw his way up 1 inch at a time. So yeah, basically Respawn is embodying a certain type of reader, saying, why does everyone love Damian so much when he seems to be such a constant, clinical screw-up? It's at this point Batman manages to make the scene and break up the fight between the two young boys. Damian was easy enough to follow because apparently in his rage he's gotten quite sloppy. Once again, Batman hopes he can end this whole battle between supervillains and assassins peaceably. Unfortunately, Talia's group, including Angel Breaker, are ready to escalate things. They've already kidnapped Dr. Moon, one of Deathstroke's toadies, and threatens to kill him unless he's willing to meet Talia at Castle Al Ghul in Nepal. Naturally, Slade refuses, knowing full well that if he took that meeting, he would basically be signing his own death warrant, and Angel Breaker lives up to her end of the agreement too and kills Dr. Moon. Well, shit. Slade also weirdly tries to turn the table on Batman and make him feel bad, saying that Batman only lives to help the innocent and the good people, and that there's no reason that Deathstroke should trust him. And it's like, yeah, obviously Batman wants to try and help the innocent and the non-supervillain, but he also has a steadfast no-kill rule, so you probably should trust him. But because this story needs to keep going, Deathstroke decides to throw a big grenade and run away with Respawn. It's only right here, right now, does Damian wise up to the idea, oh hey, I don't think Deathstroke actually killed Ra's al Ghul. No, I don't believe it because he said it, I believe it because Respawn said it. Congratulations, Damian, you officially know what we as the reader knew several issues ago. Shockingly too, this revelation about long-lost secret cloned brothers also proves to be enough to get Robin and Batman back on the same page for the first time since forever. Damian only agrees to rejoin forces with his father, though on the condition that he'll be allowed to drive this time. Damian also asks about the fate of the other members of the Secret Society of Supervillains as they are currently being hunted down by the world's greatest assassins. Batman says that he's called in a favor, and as the comic comes to a close, we see Prometheus cornered by a group of assassins only to be rescued at the last second by Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter of Batman Inc. And so that was Robin issue number 13, everybody, and once again, Shadow War seems to be an event storyline that's a little all over the damn place right now. I'm shocked that it's being written by one person because it really feels schizophrenic, like there's a bunch of different voices going on. If the problem with the Deathstroke issue that also dropped this week is that it was all just reiterating story points we already knew, then this Robin issue suffers from that too, with only the added extra caveat of now Damian knows who Respawn is. Again, it's an interesting moment, but it probably should have been given more room to breathe outside a big event storyline. I also can't help but shake the feeling that this being the big inciting incident for Batman and Robin getting back together again after fighting for what feels like years feels a bit inorganic. I get that by setting up the Bat family against the Deathstroke family and the Al Ghul family, Williamson is trying to tell a tale about generational dysfunction. And honestly, it's the sort of thing that should be a slam dunk, and yet for some reason it's all just not gelling together for me personally, and I can't quite put my finger on why yet. But still, if you're in the market for some action scenes, I guess you could do worse, and I certainly liked this one better than the Deathstroke issue that dropped this week, which is why I guess I will give this one a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.